Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. New warplanes of the Ukrainian army will be in the inventory in the spring. Ukrainian Air Force is about to be stronger than ever. Russia accelerated its diplomatic contacts to prevent this situation. Russian bombers fly over Ukraine. France and NATO are taking a giant precaution against Russian aggression. Russia is taking new steps to increase its military production capacity. HIMARS systems supplied to Ukraine by the U.S. Army continue to be a nightmare for the Russians. Violent clashes on the fronts began to escalate again. NATO took action to take historic measures against China. Ukrainian army continues to drive Russian troops from its territory. As a result of the operations carried out, the Ukrainian army began to attack many areas where Russian troops were operating. According to the statement made by the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, as a result of the operations, the Ukrainian air and ground forces struck the point where 3 anti-aircraft units were located, as well as 22 command and military units belonging to the Russian troops. Russian soldiers, who were in these regions hit by Ukrainian warplanes, left their positions after the attacks and started to flee. In addition, missile and artillery units, which came into play after the attacks by Ukrainian warplanes, carried out intensive attacks on 5 critical areas under the control of Russian troops, causing serious damage to the Russian troops. As a result of these organized attacks by all units of the Ukrainian army, Russia lost 650 soldiers, 1 helicopter, 1 tank, 6 armored combat vehicles, 1 artillery system, 23 armored transport vehicles, and 2 tactical unmanned aerial vehicles. These losses increased the troubles of the Russian troops at the front. Meanwhile, explosions were heard from the Russian-controlled southern city of Dnipro. According to local military sources in the region, the air defense alarms, which started about an hour ago, still did not go silent. Ukrainian army is believed to have attacked this area. After this incident in the region, Russia started to implement a new strategy in the Black Sea. Head of the Mykolaiv Oblast Military Administration, Vitaly Kim, announced that Russian ships armed with 12-caliber cruise missiles are on their way to the Black Sea. Ukrainian officials said that these Russian missile carriers were sent to the region to prepare for a major missile strike that Russia wants to carry out in the southern region. It is thought that the ships can fire a total of 100 missiles at the same time. Following the news, Ukrainian air defense units warned air defense systems operators. At this time, the State Press Service of Ukraine published a report on the intensifying conflict in the northern region. According to the report, 170 explosions occurred in just one day, especially in the regions of Sumy, Novgorod, and Chernihiv. Most of these explosions occurred as a result of attacks on Russian troops. It is already known that the Ukrainian army regularly orders the missile and artillery units in the northern part to attack. Russia has also started to buy new systems to seize this region and attack the Ukrainian army from different fronts. According to the statement made by the Russian Ministry of Defense, the Russian army received the new modernized T-72BM tanks. Uralvagon-Zavod, which produced and modernized this tank, confirmed the claims. Although it is stated that the delivery was made yesterday, there is no clear information about how many tanks were sent to the front. Since the Ukrainian army can easily hit these systems with systems such as HIMARS or BM-21, Russia constantly needs new tanks. This must have caught the attention of Russian military officials, who were looking for new ways to reduce the impact of the HIMARS systems supplied to Ukraine by the U.S. military. According to a Russian military source, Russian military air defense units have received new software that makes it easier to shoot down HIMARS guided rockets. According to the information received from the Ukrainian army, the M142 HIMARS systems completely changed the course of the war by providing a tactical advantage over similar Russian rocket launcher systems donated by the USA. We already knew that Russia had begun to investigate the operation of these systems, but this latest statement is completely unexpected. Russian military regularly use the Air Force to locate the HIMARS and air defense systems, but the resulting software is quite interesting. However, it should be noted that this software will not work because the electronic warfare equipment of the Ukrainian army provides a great advantage against the Russians. Since Russia knows this, it has already started to assign missions to its Air Force. Colonel Yuri Init, who made a statement on Ukrainian national television on December 2, reported that MiG-31s, which can carry nuclear-capable cruise missiles, take off from airports in Belarus and fly over Ukraine. And it also said that Russia has increased its military aviation activities in recent days. Although this strategy of Russia is largely blocked by Ukraine, Russia continues the same strategies in the east of its country. According to local sources, a MiG-31 aircraft serving in the Russian Air Force crashed shortly after takeoff. Plane reportedly crashed in Primorsky Krai. This region is an area in the easternmost part of Russia, bordering the China Sea. Although it is not specified for what purpose Russian planes are flying in this region, the activities of the U.S. Navy forces in the region are known. In the meantime, it was claimed that historical aid for the Ukrainian army could come. Allegedly, Ukraine will receive MiG-29 and F-16 warplanes after spring. It is not difficult to think that with the approaching winter season, the conflicts on the fronts will decrease, the damaged systems will be repaired, and field equipment will be used. James Stavridis, former commander of NATO forces, made the same comments. He said that MiG-29 warplanes should be delivered to Ukraine, and surplus F-16 warplanes from the United States. If the Ukrainian army can take over several squadrons of fighter jets such as the MiG-29 and F-16, it will be very difficult for the Russian army to defend the areas it controls. In addition, Western countries, in particular, have guaranteed to supply Ukraine with brand new air defense systems. Just yesterday, the Pentagon officially announced that 6 NASAMS systems are being prepared not to be sent to Ukraine. These systems greatly limit the air capability of the Russian army, giving Ukraine a great advantage. Russia also wants to compensate for these weaknesses, especially with attacks from Belarusian territory. France is taking a brand new step in this regard. France decided to deploy its most powerful Rafale warplanes in Lithuania for the first time. Having recently strengthened NATO's air police mission in the Baltic states, the Polish Air Force took over the leadership of the Hungarian mission on the 1st of December. It was announced that the Poles, who deployed 4 F-16 fighter jets in Lithuania, will be supported by France with Rafale warplanes. Supplementing the NATO Air Police mission with 4 Eurofighter fighter jets from the Estonian Air Force Base in Emmer is also being carried out by the German Air Force. NATO began to increase its activities not only in Europe, but also in China. NATO alliance has strengthened Russia's eastern flank in its war against Ukraine, but its focus is starting to shift further east. China is not an enemy, but by increasing its presence from the Arctic to the Western Balkans, from space to cyberspace, it is accelerating military modernization and trying to control the critical infrastructure of NATO allies, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said. We see that NATO allies regularly conduct joint exercises with countries such as Japan and South Korea. If these two countries join NATO, the most powerful global military formation in the world, becomes invincible. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.